Welcome to the Pull Podcast. I am your host, Big Jack. Today with us, we have a very special guest, one of the funniest men alive.
Oh, that's very nice.
Jeff Dye, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
This is awesome.
I appreciate it. And you just flew in from Burbank, huh?
Oh, yeah. I got up early, came to you, and then I'm going to go to Sacramento after this. Watch some baseball.
That's amazing. And you got the A's hat on. So Are you an A's fan or is it just baseball fan and then you wore the hat because you're going to an A's game?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. I'm a huge baseball fan. I love all 30 teams. Which is a blasphemy to a lot of people. Like when I used to make fun of guys who would wear all the hats, like whatever. But like I just love baseball. Yeah. The Mariners are my number one.
Okay.
But I root for all 30 teams.
So are you from Seattle?
I'm from Kent, Washington, which is like south of Seattle. Yeah.
Sure. So big Ken Griffey guy?
Oh, dude. There was no one higher.
The greatest to ever do it.
I always joke like growing up in the Pacific Northwest, it goes Griffey, then right under him is God, and the right under him is your dad. You know, like that's the hierarchy.
For sure.
Yeah, those are your heroes.
Yeah, but Ken Griffey's definitely at the top.
Dude, he's the best.
Yeah, dude, nobody hated that guy.
Yeah, he's so cool.
I mean, you got to witness greatness when he was playing.
I wish he was a little more playful now as an adult. Like
I don't know much about
he's
him.
very like stoic and serious. Like when people like, it's hard to make Griffey crack. You know, like Ichiro can do it pretty good. He did the last few weeks on his Hall of Fame stuff. Or like you'll hear his dad like tell a story and it'll make Griffey like laugh. But he's kind of a straight shooter. Yeah. For a guy that wore his hat backwards and blew bubbles and was like the kid, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's how we knew him, right?
Yeah. And I hold him to that. I'm like, where's 22-year-old Griffey goofing off?
Now he's all grown up.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a dad and he's a man, you know. But like, I just wish he was more silly.
On his P's and Q's?
Yeah.
Well, hey, listen, so you know what our podcast is about. Thanks for checking it out, by the way, ahead of time. You know, we deal with real stories, raw struggles, powerful comebacks, and you've been very vocal about your sobriety.
Yeah.
And I think that's amazing. We're trying to bring more of that to our listeners. And so if it's okay with you, maybe get into it a little bit.
Sure. I wish I could remember the woman's name. There's a great woman that's friends with my buddy, and she makes like stickers. She don't sell them. She's not trying to make any money off of it. But the stickers say sobriety is cool, and I really liked that because I feel like as long as I've been alive, from my experience, like it was cool to be a drunk, or maybe not a drunk, but it was cool to like have a whiskey.
Sure,
it's cool to have a beer with the boys. Like I feel like we've really glamorized and romanticized substances and alcohol and coke. Like cocaine's never had a commercial.
No, but everybody that's cool does it.
People find it.
Right?
Yeah, like it's needed no marketing. It was never on the stock market, and like people find it. Yeah. And I like her like way of being like, and I say it all the time in my meetings, like in AA, where I'll be like, you know, it's okay it's cool to be sober. You know what's cool? Having your shit together. Yeah. It's cool to like be able to connect with people. It's cool to be on time to something because you weren't dealing with your drug dealer. Like we should be making sobriety more cool. I think it is cool.
It's cool to have your car registered.
Yeah.
you know? Absolutely. It's cool not to be living in your car.
Right. Yeah. Like these are positive things. And like I feel like there does come a little bit of, and I joke about it in my act, but like there's a little bit of like, oh, I'm sober guy, I must be boring, or I'm sober guy, I'm not as cool because I'm not going out and doing those things. But I don't think that's true. I think sobriety is like very cool, and I think it's honorable. And but
have you always wanted to be a comic?
Oh yeah. So I knew I wanted to be a comedian since first grade.
Nice.
And when I say comedian, I didn't know stand-up comedian, but I just knew that like when I watched TV, Chris Farley wasn't working at a warehouse. Yeah. You know, like when I would see, you know, these funny people, John Candy or any of these guys like on television, I knew they weren't doing what my dad did. Right. I was like, well, I want to do what they do. Like I don't want to have a job. Like I want to be silly like these guys.
Yeah. If I could get paid to do that looks really attractive.
They're wearing costumes and like making everyone laugh, and I really enjoyed that. I really loved mascots growing up, and I think it's because they were like on the baseball field, but they didn't have to play the baseball. They got to be silly and do all these crazy things. So they were like, it was like silent comedy. And I knew in first grade, I was like, all right, I want to be a comic or like how that came to be was I said a funny thing to my buddy Joseph Garrell in first grade. And then Joseph said it out loud. And then my teacher, or sorry, the whole class laughed, and then my teacher yelled at Joseph. And then she said another thing, and then I mumbled it to Joseph, and then he said it out loud. Everyone laughed. Teacher yelled at Joseph. And I was looking around like, he's stealing my jokes. You know? Like, this guy's saying what I just said. So and then I said it out loud, and that feeling, I was like, that's it. I want to do that for forever.
You found your crowd.
Oh, dude, I knew I wanted to be a comedian. If you ask anybody I grew up with, they're like, oh, yeah, he was like always the goofball in class and like being silly or getting suspended. I kind of knew early, like I wasn't going to be a baseball player. I mean, I wanted to be a baseball player, but I knew talent wise, it wasn't in the cards. Academics, I was way behind, dyslexic kid. Girls didn't like me till late. I was a late bloomer. So I was just the funny guy. Yeah. And that's what I wanted to do. So
you owned it.
Yeah. And so when school was over, I didn't go into it right away just because what do you do? How do you become a comedian? But I was a Young Life leader, and we got to do like these sketches and characters like in Young Life, which is kind of like, it felt like the minor leagues or something, like making these kids laugh is
AAA comedy.
Easier, you know? Yeah. And they love you and know you. So it was a lot easier that way.
At what point did you know that this was attainable? Did you start hitting clubs like after, did you go to college?
No, I didn't do any of that. Like I literally barely graduated high school.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I had a buddy named Ronnie Wilson. Shout out to Ronnie Wilson. And when I say buddy, he was like an older brother, like more of a mentor than a buddy.
Okay.
We're friends, but like he was definitely the big brother I always wanted. And he was in the church, and he was like, hey man, you got to start thinking about like what you want to do with your life. Like you're at the age where this is, you know, it's not cute to be like a young, you know, it's not cute to be an old baby, you know?
Unemployed and uneducated.
Yeah. And just floundering, you know, I'll work at this restaurant. Direction. Maybe I'll be a bartender. Like he's like, you need to figure out what you want to do. Start doing that.
It's good advice.
Well, he was awesome. And so I said, well, I want to, you know, I don't know. And he's like, whatever you tell me, I'm going to sport, you know, like if you just say, Jeff, I want to be a pro wrestler. Let's get you some steroids. Let's get you in a weight room. Let's get you to a wrestling school. But this is the time when you need to start making those decisions.
Good for him.
And I was like, well, and he's like, tell me what you want to be. And I was like, I don't know. I'm embarrassed. He's like, dude, I'm going to encourage it, whatever it is. And I said, well, I'd like to be a comedian. And he was like, yeah. Anyone that's ever met you would say that that's like totally a normal thing.
That must have been a nice compliment.
It felt good. He goes, and he said this more as like a thing. It wasn't true to do, but he was like, I bet if we go ask 100 of your friends if you could be a comedian, all 100 that know you would be like, yeah, you'd be great at that. Like, why aren't you trying to do that already? Sure. And I was like, yeah, I never thought of it like that. And so then anyways, we figured it out. He's like, all right, you got to go to a comedy club. There's one in Seattle called Giggles. And like, once he kind of gave me that like tunnel vision of like, oh, this could be real. Sky was the limit. I moved within a block of that comedy club.
Good for you.
I started only working days because I was like, all right, at night I got to be a comedian. So 7 days a week I was at that comedy club. I would be at different comedy clubs that would have me, or like little bar shows or like whatever I could be at night, because I was like, this is what I'm doing. I'd write every single day. Like I just got so one track minded and obsessed with it. And that it was able to help me grow pretty quick in Seattle, because the scene is not huge. It's not like a giant city. So it was pretty easy to crack into the scene.
Nice. And at this point, were you drinking and using?
So I didn't have a drop of alcohol in my life till I was 21.
Okay.
Then when I turned 21, which was kind of like a pattern for me in life, like I never had sex until I was like, 19 years old. And then when I had sex, I was like, I'm going to do this as often as possible.
Shocker.
And so the same thing with like, with alcohol. I was like, oh, I don't touch that stuff. That's for bad kids or whatever. And they're like, why? And I go, because it's illegal. And they're like, well, it's not illegal now. You're 21. I go, oh yeah. So then I would have a beer, and then I was like, this is fun. And then I became like the Cal Ripken of alcohol. Like I was like, I'm going to drink every night, because if I enjoy a thing, I just start doing it. A very addict behavior. And so yeah, I started drinking, and then comedy. What a marriage, alcohol and comedy.
I'll bet.
Because even when you're new, like when you're an open micer and you ain't nothing in the business, they just give you booze. And it's at a bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's confidence, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of takes away any butterflies, probably.
Yep.
You probably think you get into a zone. The only thing that sucks is if you overshoot the mark, which probably didn't happen for a little while. But if you overshoot the mark, then that's the only time there's consequences, right? Like not showing up to a gig and then maybe forgetting some of the jokes you wrote. Well,
it's a perfect storm because it's in a bar. So the setting is a bar. 2, you got nerves, like you just said. And what helps with nerves? Have a little whiskey or have a beer. That'll help with the nerves. And then 3, they're giving it to you, so it's free.
Yep.
4, after the show, if you did good, girls and their husbands and go, hey, here's a beer, man. You were really funny. Or like, I'll buy a round for all the comedians. People want to hang out with comedians. They'll buy you drinks.
Yep.
And then, let's say you do bad. You go, fuck it. Let's get drunk, because you did bad. And then the other part of it is that your bosses don't care if you're bad or if you're too drunk up there. They don't care. They'd actually rather you be buying drinks than do well on stage. They like your own boss would be like, who gives a shit? Like,
I didn't think about it that way. Technically, all they want is your name so people come to the bar, right?
Well, for the level
they want it to be
I was
entertaining,
at,
but yes.
well, at the level I was at, they just want you to buy drinks.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's an open mic. Like, nobody's going to be good.
Oh,
and nobody has like a name
So you
yet.
weren't booked yet. Oh,
No.
gotcha.
No,
okay.
we're like just these little latchkey kids that want to be comedians,
Nice.
Yeah.
But you clearly made a name.
Yeah, after a while. Yeah, it took me a while. But I was so bad at comedy at first. But it was also like, even when I was bad, I was like, I could figure this out. Like, I knew like, if I could, like, even when I was bombing, I was like, this is fun. I really enjoy, the format of like trying to figure out what the people are going to laugh about and who am I, what's my voice, that kind of thing.
Well, that's like you said, you wanted to be a comedian since you were in first grade. So you're just perfecting your craft, in a way, right? Because nobody's ever I suppose there's some people that are talented by nature, right? Whether it's Steph Curry, LeBron James, or any of these ball players, but they still have to practice. You know, there's still that practice. Maybe Allen Iverson's the only one that doesn't have to practice.
Well, the thing with those guys is like, those are athletes. They're disciplining their bodies and their mind, but they're not necessarily exploring who they are. Which is a fun thing about athletes, like once they get forced into retirement, is they all have this like strange crisis where they're like, who am I? Like, I'm not Tom Brady anymore.
Right.
Like, I am Tom Brady, but I can't go out and get the numbers and get the arena to cheer for me. And they all kind of have this strange thing. Whereas with stand-up comedy, it is a discovery of who you are. Like you're with each joke, like presenting is so vulnerable, and it's such a exploration of your personality.
I love that.
Yeah, and it is like it's scary at times, and you go through different chapters, and like, man, I've been 4 different guys since I've started comedy.
Probably,
yeah, but that's just us growing.
Yeah.
That's us as people.
Yeah.
You're not the same guy you were 10 years ago.
Thank God.
And you're definitely not the same guy 10 years ago that you were 20 years ago, and we weren't the same guy when we were 8.
That's fair.
Yeah, so it's comedy's really fun that way.
Yeah, that's self-discovery. I never really thought about it that way. And you have to do it in front of people, right?
Yeah.
But you've probably had fans from back when you first started that have followed you this whole time and probably really like to see the evolution.
Yeah. I actually had a girl, I can't remember what show it was. Or I'd like to remember the city, because if she heard this, she'd be like, that was me. But she was like really disappointed with what I've become, because, she's grown into something maybe different, and I've grown into something different. And she was after the show, she just wanted to let me know. She was like, I've just known you since 2008. And like, you were so sweet, and you had long hair, and you were like, you would joke about cats, and this new guy is just, and I was like, yeah, I'm not that guy. That guy's gone. Like, that guy's dead. I'm not go drink with you, hook up with you guy who wants to talk about Disneyland. Like that man's dead. I buried that guy.
Yeah.
I'm not going back to that guy.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah, exactly. And you might have think I changed, which I did, but I also grew. Like, I'm a better man now. Like, I'm not doing that stuff. I'm sorry you missed the drinking jokes.
Yeah.
But it's over.
Yeah. Good for you for not taking it the wrong way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's when something dies, whatever, it's a mourning.
Yeah.
I mourned that guy. He's gone.
Yeah. This segment of the Pull Podcast is brought to you by Creekside Recovery. Well, let's get into that. So at what point in your career did the wheels ever start falling off?
I was a pretty high functioning alcoholic, which I have a joke in my act where I go, if you're good at drugs and alcohol, no one will help you, because everyone just loves it.
It doesn't look like a problem.
Right.
Right.
It's funny because, when you're paying for all the drinks and you're having a good time, and, and everyone just sees the life of the party, the Burt Kreischers or the Jeff Dutch. It's this beautiful commercial for alcohol and substance abuse. And what I always tell people, and I don't know if I've ever said this to Burt, but it's like, no one was with me in the morning in between my ears. I would wake up in just this kind of like, because it's a chemical imbalance. Like my body's just, hung over and whatever. But like in between my ears, it's like, what's the point of all this? Like, what's the point of life? What's the point of sex? What's the point? Like it made me very like nihilistic and like whatever. And then I would shake out of it after a little while. I'd have some breakfast. I'd kind of be like, oh yeah, life's good. Let's go buy some stuff and let's go whatever, meet up with some friends. But it was like, in my mind, I'm like, why am I getting so depressed in the morning? Like, why are these things? And that's a high functioning alcoholic.
Yeah.
Let alone someone who's lost someone or someone's going through a divorce or and so I always think that's the real dangerous part about alcohol is, and drugs is that like, it's fun till it's not, like maybe if you're celebrating a promotion or something, it's fun to drink, but wait till you get sad.
Yeah.
Then the drinks, it's like dancing with the devil,
I mean, did you ever hair the dog?
Oh, all the time. Yeah. I used to always joke, if I just stay drunk, I'll never be hungover.
That's it.
I would do it all the time.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. You just got to keep it going, right? If anything, it cured the hangover quicker.
Right. And I almost think there's like a placebo effect in that.
Sure.
Like I would tell myself like, oh, hair of the dog. And I'd have like a beer and then I'd think I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like immediately.
Let's go get the day started.
Right.
Not knowing that you're constantly walking around at like a 0.20 like blood alcohol level. Like,
always.
Dangerous.
Yeah. I know.
Dangerous.
I was also doing it, I think, socially. I really like people. Yeah. And so alcohol was a great way to...
It's a lubricant.
Yeah, and I think, well, it was just, there's always an excuse to drink. Like it's hard to like invite a guy to, like, this is nice because I get to spend an hour with you. But like, it would be hard to just go up to you and be like, hey man, what are you into? Like, want to go hang out? Like, but if I go, hey, let's get a drink after this, like that would be a very acceptable social way to like get more time with you. Yeah. To spend, time. Yeah. And so that's really what alcohol was. And then once I learned that I was able to be able to have social circles and friends and all that stuff without it, then good riddance. Who needs it?
So if you don't mind me asking, when did you decide that I just don't want to do this like this anymore?
I wanted to stop long before I stopped.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember like complaining all the time. I was like, I can't drink today. Like I'm so over this.
But you couldn't not drink.
Yeah, because it was all intertwined with the social part.
Yeah.
And my identity. Like people saw me as like, obviously, Bert is the best example because he's so famous and he does it so well. But I was trying to be like Bert. Like, oh, I'm going to be the party guy. You come to my shows. We're going to all get drunk together. We'll hang out. Everyone will have a good time. And so...
He's a different breed.
Yeah. Well, no, who knows? Maybe he has a problem.
Maybe it's not up to us.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's like, I'm just using him as an example because he made drinking look so fun in my industry. So that's why it always just comes to the top of my brain.
Sure.
Love you, Bert. Not judging you. But for me, I was trying to emulate that. I wanted to be like a Bert Kreischer. Like, you come to my show, it's going to be a party. Everyone's going to have a good time.
I get it. He does make it look attractive.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I remember like telling, there's a woman that I was dating named Violet, and I remember telling her like, I can't drink anymore. And she's like, then just don't. And I was like, I know, but I'm doing this golf tournament all day. These guys are going to be, I'm going to make friends with these guys. I want to impress them. There's going to be like a cute cart girl we're going to do shots with. And like, there's just so many drinking parts of my life. I had made it such a part of my life that I'm one of the reasons I'm so grateful for my rock bottom is because then everyone was like, oh, I wonder if something's going to change. It was like, what an opportunity. Yes, I get to change this. I get to reset all of these things that are linked to me and attached to me. And so my rock bottom was I crashed my car and got a DUI.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And
I got a couple of those.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was very humiliating.
I'll bet. Yeah. Did you make the papers?
Oh, yeah. It was all over TMZ. It was in People magazine. It was on all these things. But it wouldn't have been. But I was going to meet my a woman I briefly dated. She was not my girlfriend, but like we hung out a few times, and I would have loved her to be my girlfriend. She didn't want me to be her boyfriend. I was like,
oh, she was famous?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like this fling for her, which in my drunken brain, I was like, I'm in love with her. Like I said, another bad problem with
Yeah, marriage sounds good.
Yeah.
Let's go do that.
I would have married her. I was like a loser to her, I guess, some fun drunk guy to hang out with. But anyways, so I went to go meet up with her, and this was just a hilarious thing that happened to her that she'd love to talk about on her podcast. Yeah, that's how casual I was to her in her reality, is that this was more of a funny thing that happened on her wild weekend. She went to go meet a guy she used to have sex with, and he crashed his car and still came to the coffee date, and then the cops arrested him at the coffee date, and I'm the coffee date.
Jesus.
So because it was such a funny anecdote for her to share on her podcast, and also she shared photos of my car, which I had only texted to her because I just got out of jail like the day before.
That feels gross.
It felt really hurtful, yeah. And psychologically to deal with that while I'm behind bars, and then also like they brought it up in court. I mean, like, it really made things a lot harder and more messy for me. But taking responsibility, I'm the one who drove drunk. I'm the one who crashed the car. I'm the one who did all that stuff. So she just made it super public. And so it was all over everything. And so I was like afraid that I was going to text her some like evil thing, or I was afraid I was going to like call her and say something bad, or I was afraid I was going to like crash out on Instagram or something. So what I did, I just told my buddy, I was like, I think that I'm going to just not drink for a little while I deal with this. And then every day of not drinking, even though it was like my lowest moment, I felt better. My body felt good. I was like, oh, I'm getting up a little earlier. You could go for a little hike, get some sun on my bones, work out. Food tasted better. I would have better better like conversations in my friendships. I wasn't staying up all night, and then like staying in bed till 1. It was like my sleep schedule kind of leveled out. Yeah. And I was like, there's something to this. Yeah. Yeah. My comedy, way more articulate, way more like clear. I felt like, and this is exactly how a lot of people describe it, but like just like somebody had taken this fog out of my brain, and I felt so dialed in. Yeah. And I was like, this feels like I'm like a superhero compared to this zombie guy I was for the last decade.
I love that. I always say, sobriety is a superpower. So to say like you felt like a superhero. Yeah, it was
amazing.
Yeah. I don't think and the thing is, it's so hard to give it a chance too, because some people are so physically tied to their whatever drug or alcohol or whatever it is that they can't even fathom it. The mental's got them, the physical's got them. Right. And like, dude, but if you could just describe that superpower feeling that you had, like anybody would want that.
Right.
Right.
Anybody. 100%. And I don't even understand why. I'd get if you were really sad or depressed, but like really fine people are just numbing themselves. For what? Like, I mean, I know we all have traumas and we all have these things, but like, I know guys and girls who smoke weed from morning to night. Yeah. And I'm like, why? What are you trying to be so like blurred out for and medicated? It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, life came alive when I got sober. Same. And I didn't even know I wasn't living, right? I only started living when I got sober. That's how it felt, at least.
I agree. Yeah. I think that might be my biggest regret. I think when I die, my biggest regret is that like I didn't, sounds a little theatrical, but like start my life till now. Yeah. I really do feel like it's like you just said, like it began, I feel like a 2-year-old, like every experience is new. I joke about that in my act, like having sex sober for the first time. I was like, whoa, what is this? Like, this is different. You know? And so, and like every little thing, like I'll go on a vacation and I'm actually up at like 9 a.m. so we can start the day. And I'm not like going, oh, I gotta shut the curtains.
Half the time you go on vacation, you're going because of the destination. It's beautiful wherever you're going. And so like, you miss out on all that stuff. You end up staying in your nice hotel room. Like that's cool. But like, why would you go to Hawaii? Why would you go to Mexico? Why would you, if you couldn't go out and experience
100%
just the architecture or the nature or whatever it is?
Well, and I always said, and like, I know that maybe this is just a Jeff thing, but like, because I was using the alcohol to connect, right? The irony is that like, the alcohol was affecting the connection.
It was.
But like, that's the only reason I was doing it. So it was like robbing me of the thing that I was drinking for. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I've had so many conversations with like great men and women, like at like the chimney sweep in Sherman Oaks. And they're like, you don't remember any of that? And I was like, No, like I didn't even get to remember the stories they were sharing with me or the time they were spending with me.
Yeah.
Because I was just like blurry, like just like, you know, and I was with them, sure, but I didn't have the connection that we could have had if I was just clear.
Yeah. Man, that's so, I mean, anybody that's listening, I mean, that's the difference, right? I mean, that I live life for the moments now, for the memories, right?
Same.
It's like I'm tasting things for the first time. Everything's like a first time again, right? You're sort of reborn.
You know, I've heard the expression like time is our most precious commodity, right? Like,
absolutely.
You know, people go, you can't bring possessions with you when you die. You know, we whatever. Time is so valuable. So if time is our most precious commodity, then whiskey and drinking for me was the greatest thief I've ever danced with, ever.
And it's delusional because
it took all that.
Yeah, but it's so subtle and so cunning that like it's telling you something different, and it's very romantic.
It's just flew by.
Yeah.
And blackouts and like hanging out with people that I don't have any of it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, like we've got to stop doing that if we want to keep time. You know, I'm getting more time, and that feels good.
It's like a double-edged sword too, because technically you're killing yourself, right? It is a poison.
Oh yeah.
So like you're shortening your life by doing it. Plus you're also then
not even remembering
wasting it.
Yeah. So like that's the part that I will regret the most for sure. Just wish I'd have got sober sooner.
Well, you still have a lot of life ahead of you. And that's the thing, right? Especially now that you stop, you could live a very, very long, especially with modern medicine. You know, people are living a lot longer these days.
Yeah.
You just stick with Joe Rogan and keep taking all of those like peptides that he tells you all about.
I love that people criticize him for being healthy. Like you know, these guys would be like, oh, what? He's doing cold plunges and he's, now comics are talking about eating right. You're like, yeah, what's wrong with that?
Yeah,
that's great.
He actually stopped drinking, right?
I think that he is, sober now, yeah.
It's not like he ever had a problem, but.
I've seen the guy be on mushrooms and like smoking joints while like having like tequila or whatever the heck he was drinking. And he seemed dialed in, just fine, which is, that's my perception.
Yeah, but he's also, I mean, he's a high performing just human being in general for sure. I love the bit where you were talking about the comic books and you were like, everybody makes fun of them, but you look up to all those comic book heroes like the Hulk and all these other stuff, and it's like, that's a human version of it right there.
Absolutely.
And like, but when you see him, you don't have the same.
Well, I've always thought that was fascinating. When I was a kid, I was like, skinny kid, but I wanted to be ripped, like the idea was like, I want to be like this large because I wanted to be like the comic book guys.
I still do.
Yeah. But then the comic book kids didn't look anything like their heroes.
Yeah.
Like if they met Thor, they'd be like, what a douche. And you'd be like, that's your hero.
Yeah.
But like for them, it's like, it's only on pen and paper.
Right.
Do they see it as a hero? In real life, they hate that guy.
Yeah. I ended up having to be the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, but whatever, it is what it is. Right. I can change that too though today. And that's the other thing, right? Is like sobriety offers you an ability to be honest with yourself, which is a huge thing for me because for the longest time, my alcoholism had me deluded. I was completely under a false pretense in what I told myself, and it wasn't the truth. And so, lying to yourself for so long will only take you so far.
Absolutely.
So, whether it's a self-deprecating joke about a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man or whatever, it's like, dude, I know I need to hit the gym. It's like I'm making lifestyle changes and I do all of that stuff. I try not to make it seem like my life will be over if I don't, I'm trying to be kind with myself.
Which is good.
Because it's not everything all at once, right? Because 100%. You try to do too much, you either burn out doing something or it ends up being a negative somehow, some way.
And it's your don't be a tyrant over yourself, just face yourself. Yeah. I mean, you got your shit together, you're doing a thing, you're clean, like those are that's not nothing. Like that's a huge deal.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you saying that.
Jordan Peterson has a great kind of like quote where he's, and I'm going to botch it, but it's something along the lines about only we know our shit. You know what you should do better. And that's for you. Sit down at the end of your bed one day and just be honest with yourself and say, all right, Jeff, hey, we could probably work on that. Or, where was I wrong in this little situation? And but your wife can't do that for you. Your best friend can't do that for you. Dad can't do that for you.
Nobody.
Yeah. And those are the things you just be honest when you're ready to start hitting that list. But only you know it,
Yeah, no, that's well said. I love that man. I could listen to that guy talk forever.
In the quiet hills of Marin County, there's a place where healing begins. A place where alcohol or drugs no longer control your life. At Live Oaks Wellness, we offer compassionate, client-centered care for those struggling with addiction. Our licensed drug and alcohol detox and residential programs are designed to help you take the first step toward recovery with a team that truly understands the journey. You don't have to walk this path alone. At Live Oaks, we're here to help you rebuild, restore, and reclaim your life. Take the first step today. Live Oaks Wellness. Healing starts here.
Going back to like the whole bottom and all that, that's really unfortunate the way that happened. However, like I'm sure in retrospect, if it's not already, because you probably feel great and loving life, and it sounds like, but maybe already in retrospect, you're like, I'm glad that day happened.
Yeah, I'm grateful for the thing. Obviously grateful for my rock bottom. It was awesome. It was the nice restart that I needed. It's tricky though. I struggle with this. This might be like more of an existential thing. So like if you were a victim of like a horrific sexual assault, but then it made you the woman that you are today, it's still don't want to be grateful for the sexual assault. I never want to go to a point where I'm shaking my that woman's hand and going, you know what, you were able, like,
she is not the catalyst for you to be a better person, right?
I'm never going to be like, it was great I got arrested. Right. It was great I almost killed people with my car.
She's not getting credit for saving your life.
No, and I won't make me some star of that story. Disgustingly irresponsible for me to drive like that. But I don't ever want to glamorize it in any way. Like, no. I think it was so terrible.
I get it.
I mean, I could have killed somebody. I could have killed myself. I could have really hurt someone, or like luckily it really worked out for all positives. But I always struggle with it. There's always like a tug of war in my heart of when people glamorize these things. Like, well, I'm glad that guy beat me up in elementary school. It's like, no, man.
You were bullied.
You were a little kid. Yeah. You didn't deserve that shit.
Yeah.
And the good thing is God makes all things new, you know? He can fix it. There can be a silver lining. We can have karma. We can have these things. But like that shouldn't have happened. These bad things, I wish they didn't happen.
No, I'm with you. With you. But so, because it sounds like you stopped drinking on your own, so you didn't have to do treatment or anything.
No, like the actual physiological part of me was ready to stop drinking. My body bounced back great. There was no like alcohol withdrawal or anything like that. Yeah.
All right. So you weren't so saturated that you needed like.
I did think I had COVID, which was actually a great joke that I had for a second, where I was like, oh, great. I finally get clean and then I get COVID. And I went to the doctor and he's like, no, this is alcohol withdrawal. Like you're like these sweats and
Stop smelling.
Yeah,
definitely.
But it wasn't, wasn't really hard for me physically to quit drinking.
Okay. But you admittedly are in a 12-step program.
Yes.
So at what point do you realize that you want some social support from that?
I didn't really. The first week that it like hit the tabloids, I was still doing comedy every night.
Wow.
Just because that's like my therapy, sure. Getting up on stage, and I was immediately talking about it and all this different stuff. A little bit. Bobby Lee came up to me, the very funny comedian. Shout out to Bobby Lee. Now, Bobby Lee, at this point in my life, we've never had any real interaction. And so he seemed pretty serious. And he was like, can I talk to you outside? And I was like, oh, no. Whenever this happens, you immediately go, do we have a joke that's the same? Yeah. And this is going to be some sort of thief accusation? Or do we start talking to the same girl, Or like, did my ex...
You immediately go negative, though.
Right. Like, what's the worst thing that we could be having here? So he pulls me outside. I was like, what's up, man? I'm already having a rough week, but I was like, what's up, man? And he goes, hey, I saw, in TMZ, like your car crash and the DUI. And I was like, yeah. He goes, I don't know if you know, I'm sober, and we have a meeting once a week at the Improv at noon. It's a closed meeting, but like,
wow.
If you want to come, I don't know if I'm not trying to say you should or you need to, but like if you want to. And I was like so taken aback by that, because like my best friends at the time, like my buddy Willie Simon, my buddy Randy, they barely were messaging me. In their defense, I think they were like, we don't know what Jeff needs.
Right.
So it wasn't nefarious or anything. But like Bobby, a stranger to me, comes up and's like, are you okay? And like, if you aren't, we have this place. And so I went, and it's all comedians.
I can only imagine.
They all know me.
Yeah.
And they're all going,
welcome.
Jeff's
We've
here.
been waiting.
Yeah. And we've talked about it. We've talked about wondering when you'll walk in this room.
Nice.
So it was really, really nice. And I still go to that meeting every single Wednesday in Los Angeles.
Good for you.
Yeah. I love them. They're like, it's like a little support group. Well, it is a support group, but it feels like a little church.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. There's a big sober trend, especially not even amongst comics, just in general. And I don't know if you've noticed, but it seems like, you know, aside from like the fentanyl epidemic and some of this other stuff, but like, you know, there's a sober trend going on.
I hope so. And I think it's good. And I think cause I've heard people complain about the sober trend too. They're like, oh, everyone's getting sober now. You're like, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
People are getting better like that. Like you should be grateful for that.
Right.
The fentanyl thing breaks my heart too, just cause like, I feel like young people should be able to be young people without having to wonder if they're going to die.
I understand where you're coming from. You mean to experience some of this stuff?
Yeah, I don't want them to.
Right.
But like young people are going to be young people.
Going to be young people.
And so like it would be wildly unfortunate that someone's just a 21-year-old kid at a party.
Want to take E or something.
Yeah, and then now he dies. I mean, like at least like the hippies, you know, the boomers and my generation, like if the naughty kids weren't dying.
No.
They were just making bad decisions and maybe hooking up with people they shouldn't and being a little too wild.
That's it.
They didn't die. So sad.
They didn't drop dead after the first time they tried something.
It's terrible.
You know?
Yeah, it seems really sad to think that that's happening.
Yeah. It's so dangerous. It's so scary. It's in everything. And we definitely have had a couple of people on that have like fentanyl awareness type platforms and things of that sort. And we want to educate people more. Everybody knows though at this point, but like there's just people that are willing to risk it.
Well, of course, the addicts will risk anything, or young people especially will be a little more risky. But like you'll hear people like my age who are like, well, like they'd be stupid. They should be testing their drugs. And I was like, do you not remember what it's like to be young? Mm-hmm. You're not walking around with a little tester kit you got off Amazon.
You're invincible.
You just take a thing. A kid gives you some drugs. You take the drugs. A cute girl goes, hey, you know. So I'm
peer
not
pressure,
saying it's good, but I'm saying like, why would they have a tester kit? You know, it's not Breaking Bad. Like they're going around just being young people.
Those are maybe for like addicts and things of that sort. But there's people that are just picking it up to use once, like you know, like because prom's happening or something, right? Like we're talking about like once a year, this person's trying to do something, and they can't even do that same thing,
right? Or they think maybe this is my circle, the party kids. And then they party. And
they try it once and they never wake up.
Right. It's crazy.
It is. It's absolutely brutal.
We are in the midst of the worst drug crisis in U.S. history.
The CDC has named fentanyl deadliest drug in the United States.
The drug is fentanyl.
My name is Jeremy, and I'm a recovering fentanyl addict. I've overdosed more times than I can count. I believe I was revived so I could carry the message to the addict that still suffers. Silence makes you complicit. You either recover loudly or you die quietly. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to help you save your own life.
Learn more at recoverordie.org.
You're sober now, and how's comedy going at this point?
So the second I got sober, comedy got so much better. My comedy got so much more like dialed in that people noticed, you know, like Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld, who's also a sober guy. Greg Gutfeld is. I don't know. I think I'm probably supposed to keep that anonymous, but
no, I think Rich might have let that out of the bag. Rich Voss was on earlier. He does a Gutfeld special, and I think even Jim Norton too. But
okay, well, Greg has been so good to me, sobriety wise, and so they've put me on their shows, and then that helps with things. And I talk about sobriety in my act more. One, because I think it's a funny subject as far as like. It endears me to the crowd too to know that I do struggle with things the way they do. You know, sometimes when you're up there,
it humanizes you.
Yeah, so like I want them to know like I'm a human being going through something, but then also it holds them accountable a bit. It holds me accountable. But after these shows, everyone's offering you drugs and alcohol. Dude, so if I just say, maybe if I do 10 minutes about how I'm sober, that'll curb some of that.
Yeah.
Because it is tempting. You got some 3 beautiful women who are like, you know, they think you're the bee's knees because they're at your show, and now they're going, we're going to the bar across the street. Like, that's like my kryptonite.
Yeah.
All these hot chicks with cleavage are all trying to get me drunk and hang out. Like, that's the dream.
Yeah, no, it is.
So now I put it in my act. So if some girl is trying to talk to me or something, I'm very clear, like, well, you know, it's going to be soda water, and I'm not going to go to your bar over there. So
yeah,
it helps me stay accountable.
Good for you. Yeah. I mean, I was going to say talking about it really takes the power out of it too, right? And it also reaffirms, right? Sometimes when we say things out loud, I feel like we're readmitting to ourselves that like, this is just how it has to be now.
Exactly.
This is just how it has to be.
And also I hate tribes. I'm trying to be no tribe. You know, I don't like people grouping up and having tribes, but if I'm going to have a tribe, I think that put me in the sobriety one.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a good
It's not
tribe.
a bad one to be a part of, right? You know, and listen, it's not like we sit there in judgment of others or people that are still struggling. It's it's sort of like, you know, those guys have at that meeting where they were waiting for you, bro.
Yeah,
like they were waiting for you, but you have to find your way there.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those places where you have to find it, but once you do, you're so glad you do.
Sam, all right, I 100% agree. This guy named Dustin Chafin, he's such a funny and nice guy. Within like a few months, he was like, and Di just got sober, and he's already got the best fucking material about it, which is like they were all kind of like jealous, like
right. They've been working on it for years.
Well, no, they just keep their sobriety so private, you know, so intimate for them. And like I was like day one, like I'm sober now, like I already had all this like material about it.
I didn't have a problem owning it right off the bat either, you know,
good.
especially once I made the amends. There was something so cleansing about the experience. This is just who I am now, and like I don't have to have shame around it. And by talking about it took the shame out of it for me. It was sort of like, this is me. You either like me or you don't.
Right.
You know?
And also it's more of a, hey, I'm acknowledging that guy is over there. So my old self. And so maybe you can also have some grace for that guy too. You know?
That's so well put.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never really thought about it that way. I guess maybe in a sense, that's sort of what I was going for too, right?
Yeah.
Is that like, hey, that's how I used to be, but I'm not anymore.
Yeah.
I also think it was so obvious for people that how bad of a drunk I was that like, it was good for me to say, I'm not that guy anymore.
Yeah. And it's also fun to have someone root for you, you know?
Well, everybody likes a comeback story, an underdog or whatever it may be. And, you know, I don't think people realize, people that don't suffer from this thing or understand it, it is trying to kill you. And the fact that we survive it and we're the lucky ones, I'm not looking for an applause or a pat on the back. You know, it's like, it's not my fault I'm an alcoholic, but it is my responsibility.
100%.
You know, and at the end of the day, I'm not looking for an applause or a pat on the back, but I'm not that person anymore. And it's just, I don't know. I feel like I don't have a problem saying that.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the hero story, really.
Yeah.
It is heroic.
I like it because if people are struggling, now they know that they can come to me and talk to me about it.
Yeah.
Right. You know, I hope that is a door that I've cracked open for somebody to say, hey man, I think I've been drinking a little bit too much too. Can you tell me a little bit about your story? And I'll be like, all day.
Happens to me every day.
I believe that.
Yeah. People message me all these things. And I don't feel a responsibility to reply to any of them, but I feel like I'm honored to like get the message. So I reply. Like I'm always like, can't believe that this is, you know, maybe that's why God's put me in this position of stand up.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's the way he's going to reach people, you know, and like, and that's, so that part has been great to talk to people about it.
Yeah. So you just mentioned God, but you also mentioned church too, earlier in the interview. And so did you grow up religious, or is that?
My parents were agnostic. And so, you know, it's funny, like if your parents are super religious, you become, you know, you want nothing to do with it. And if they're not, you go, oh, that's kind of interesting. It's the opposite thing. But the kids in school that were the nicest to me were like the church kids. And they also had answers. So that was nice. So I was always going to like a youth group thing or some sort of church lock-in or a ski trip or whatever. And I got really dialed in with Young Life.
Okay.
And I've been a Christian, I'm trying to think, since 5th grade.
Nice.
I'm very like snobby about church, so I don't have like a church I go to, but I have a very strong relationship with Jesus Christ. Very hippy dippy about my faith and my walk, but very, very much consider myself a Christian.
Yeah. Well, I was raised Catholic, and my parents were super religious, and I didn't necessarily love it, but I enjoyed dude, I got to go to private school, like I'm super fortunate, and in that regards, there's something about the morals that come along with organized religion that I think is really attractive, which I appreciate. I was raised, I feel like I was raised with good morals and all that stuff. I just didn't like the whole jamming it down my throat and, and going to church on Sundays. That wasn't a fun use of my time, but I rebelled against anything that wasn't playing outside.
Fun use of my time.
Right? It just didn't seem like it. Well, it's same thing with school, right?
Right.
Like I didn't want to be in school. I wanted to play football or basketball or whatever it was, and as a result, it kind of had a negative effect on me. But I feel like I was reintroduced to my higher power through AA. That's where I found, because there's just some things that you just can't explain about what starts to happen when you 100%. Get sober. Dude, there are so many little miracles or God shots or whatever you want to call them that are unexplainable. I don't call it serendipity, but most people would, where I'm getting confirmation from something that says you're doing the right 100%. Thing and stay on that path.
Yeah, 100%. My biggest pet peeve about AA, if I could complain about the program in any way, it's not even the program, it's the people that go to the program. If I could complain about the addicts that are in AA, my biggest complaint would be all the God slander. They get so many laughs in our meetings by being, I don't do the whole God stuff, but I do think this, and I did. And then everyone kind of chuckles along with their rejection of church or God or religion. What is everyone's big hang up with the Lord?
Right.
It's literally gives us the freedom to go ruin our lives if we want. And then when we barely survive it and come to our grips, still shitting on the guy. I don't understand it. All day I'm going, it's just me and you, bud. I'm in a constant conversation in my mind with God and my higher power.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love
so that. It's very strange to me that people struggle with it.
This segment of the Pull Podcast is brought to you by Heartwood Home Detox. Do you have any specials coming up? What's going on in your career to date?
Hopefully soon. That's the thing.
You going on tour soon? Or?
I would always say that my goal is, people go, what's the goal? Because I thought I wanted to be in TV and movies and stuff, but I don't really like doing that. I really just like stand up. And so for the last few years, I've kind of manifested this. It's happening. But I would say, I just want to do exactly what I'm doing now for way more money.
Yeah.
So if more people were coming to the shows, if the ticket prices were a little higher, these kind, I would just grow it that way.
Yeah.
Because I'm really enjoying it. And then since I've been doing that, and chipping away and just literally every day working on being healthier and in mind for me, my own little mind goals by reading and learning and then praying and then also just staying sober. That's a daily thing for me. And then working on my writing and my comedy. And that's my day.
Yeah.
So since I've started that as my everyday thing, which has been 23 months, so many things have happened. I keep getting invited on great podcasts like this or doing things, or literally every night I'm performing somewhere. I was at the Comedy Store last night in Hollywood. The night before that, I was in New York City at the Stand. The night before that, I was in Milwaukee at the Pabst Theater, the Vivarium.
Jesus.
The night before that, I did 5 shows at Acme Comedy Club in Minneapolis, then Casper, Wyoming. This is all going backwards. Greeley, Colorado. I'm somewhere every single day, every single night. Tomorrow I'm in Houston. So
you were on the road, dude.
Yeah, but I love it. And I don't have a family, so I don't feel any guilt about being gone or whatever. But I just chip away at the stand-up. So hopefully someone at Netflix will notice or like what I'm doing and offer me a special because the material is ready to go.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just me touring every day. JeffDye.com is where you can see where I'll be.
So let me ask you this then. So you must be visiting a lot of baseball stadiums these days. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I'm going to Sacramento after this podcast, because I've gone to every park so many times.
Yeah.
Everyone goes, I want to go to all the parks.
Now you're going to AAA stuff?
I'm traveling so much. I did it. I did them all. I've done them all. One year I did every park in the same season.
Jesus.
Yeah. So now, I don't know if any of your listeners care about baseball, but the Oakland Athletics, who were previously the Kansas City Athletics and the Philadelphia Athletics, but they were in Oakland for a long time, have got their owners sold them to Vegas. But then the Vegas doesn't have a ballpark or the permits to make it. So Oakland's like, F you. And then Vegas is like, not yet. So they have to play in Sacramento.
Well, that's where the River Cats play their AAA team.
In a minor league park.
Yeah.
Like, that's hilarious.
Hilarious. They're taking a massive hit, probably.
Oh, for sure. And so in my mind, I was like, I've been saying all season, like, I got to get up there because to see two big league teams play in a minor league park is pretty cool.
Well, it'll actually probably look sold out at that point because I'll be honest with you, like anytime you go to the A's game at the Oakland Arena, I mean, there's seats everywhere.
Dude, it was terrible.
So many open.
Oakland Coliseum was such a terrible stadium that it circled back around to awesome because it was so terrible. Like that became the thing. I heard this once and thought it was brilliant, and then I saw it everywhere, so it became pretty unoriginal after a while. But the Oakland Coliseum was called the dive bar of Major League Baseball. And I was like, that's such a great title.
But everybody loves dive bars.
I know.
Right?
That's why it was so great. It became a circle back around to like, this is amazing.
Yeah, it was so bad. It was good.
It has like an ironic kind of celebrity about it.
It was just old, man.
Dude,
it was just old. It's really sad they couldn't stay. I'll be honest with you. I'm a Raiders fan too, so they share that same park.
Yeah.
You know,
you lost them all, man.
We did. And, it's not the first time.
I know.
They moved to LA too. Like, I don't know. I can't keep up with the politics. I just
I think that it is political. I really believe that.
It's money. Yeah. Anytime.
Like these towns say, don't gentrify, don't do this stuff. And you're like, well, that's what happens when you don't gentrify.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to feel like they're in danger going to the Oakland Coliseum. Nobody wants to, it just feels icky going into the Oakland Coliseum.
It does.
And that makes people not want to go to the Oakland Coliseum, which then if people are going, it better be cheap.
Dude, if you take BART, that's a whole nother experience. If you take the train, I guess increases the chances of you dying.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's wild. You need a drink to get on BART.
You definitely need one. Those cloth seats are terrible. Whoever designed that should be shot. I rode that thing for 10 years.
Really?
Yeah, I used to be in finance, so I would take it from the East Bay all the way into Embarcadero every single day for about 10 years.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wait, so what made you get sober?
So I blew up my life twice the exact same way. So I was in finance for a while and did okay, and then blew that up. And listen, I never had I didn't want to be anything in first grade like you did. I didn't have any dreams, hopes, aspirations. I wanted to play. I didn't want to do things I didn't want to do. I just didn't have a whole lot of direction, but I always had good work ethic and I was always raised well. So essentially that's what happened. But I tried to stay in finance after I blew my life up the first time and then ended up, and I feel awful about it, but I've made amends. It was a guy in the program that ended up giving me a second chance. I thought my career was so great that I was going to knock on the door, Morgan Stanley or JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs, and they were going to fight over how much to pay me. I had this massive ego from something that I actually never really achieved much at. But for some reason thought I was hot shit because I guess I made a little coin, whatever. And I worked for a very, very prestigious person. So anyway, long story short is I got another opportunity, ended up burning that to the ground too, because I just never did the steps.
Right.
And then at that point I was like, I have to do the work. And during the process of getting sober, I didn't know how I was going to stay out here in Marin County because this is where I went for treatment. And I ended up getting an opportunity to run a sober living house.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's like the first time I started like focusing on other people besides myself.
Yeah.
And
Which is one of the best parts about the program.
It is.
Teaching people that
helping. The service aspect of it was so big for me. And, once I realized that like it wasn't about me and like more about what I could pack into the stream of life started taking on a new meaning, as the book actually says, and literally everything in that book it comes true. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, maybe there's something to this recovery thing. And, I ran some sober livings and I work in the field and then now I'm like, I want to help more, so now I'm like, what's the best way I can? And I was talking to a buddy in there, Jesse, and I was like, dude, what are we going to do? And it ended up being this. And, hopefully it takes off. Hopefully people enjoy it. Hopefully it connects with people. Yeah. That's really all it is. It's just trying to help people on a broader scale.
Yeah. I feel like, it's kind of like what I was talking about earlier. It's like sobriety is important, it is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I also want to have fun doing it, right? Yeah. I also want to have fun with my life. I didn't enjoy what I did for a living. It just paid the bills. I was one of those guys that was clocking in and clocking out and like didn't realize life was passing me by because I just go home and then drink on my couch. And just like, woe is me.
Right.
Woe is me. It was fucking Groundhog's Day.
Being sold that. Yeah. Everyone was.
Yeah. It's Groundhog's Day. And now, dude, I didn't know I could own a business. I'm not college educated. I didn't know I could own a business or run a business or do anything. I thought I was, because of that, I was stuck in this field that I actually had worked in long enough to at least climb the corporate ladder a little bit, you know? And so I was like, oh, I boxed myself in and now I got nothing because my reputation's tarnished everywhere because I just blew my life up.
Yeah.
And luckily, God provided, really. I mean, at the end of the day, it was just like, you know, we've been waiting.
Yeah.
We've been waiting and I kind of feel like I found my purpose in life and I love it.
I love that. That makes me so happy. Yeah, the Sober Living House would be a cool place to.
It was fun, man. Yeah. It was fun. I talk about it all the time on here. I was like, dude, I did it for 4 years.
Yeah.
4 years. I did not trust myself.
Yeah.
Plus I was paying everybody back, right? So I had accumulated enough debt to warrant staying in the sober living for a little while.
That's good. Yeah. Well, that's, I did rehab and it was very humbling.
You did do rehab?
Yeah.
I didn't know you did. I thought you said is that to kind of help satisfy the DUI thing?
Yeah, it was, well, just like also I kind of had like a mental crack.
Okay.
And I think a lot of that wasn't necessarily related to the alcohol, but it was the alcohol wasn't helping it.
No,
you know, like
it exacerbates everything. Yeah.
And so that was me just going like the COVID and the breakup and I lost a dog and there was all these kind of like, it was just kind of too much shit at once.
Sure.
I have a joke in my act where I go, I think that's worse than rock bottom, checking into rehab.
I mean, it is. I mean, to some
going into a building and going, hi, I can't handle it out there.
I think I have seen that.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
You mind if I live here for a little while? I'm having trouble with Earth.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys. Yeah, life's just a little too much for a guy like me.
Can you take my phone and all my freedoms?
I don't trust myself.
I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do.
There's a lot of booze and guns at my house.
Yeah. Well, that's cool, man. I'm actually glad you did because I actually believe in it. You know, you probably learned a lot about yourself and
met a lot of great people and a lot of people in worse positions than me, in my opinion.
Sure.
And a lot of people in better positions than me, in my opinion. But it was good to be around that and to,
I don't know. I had been working my whole life and like, dude, but it was almost a vacation that I had never had before, honestly, right? Like where you really get to focus on, that's when you could be selfish a little bit, right? Like that's where you can be selfish a little bit. And then when you get back out, that's when you start to realize that it's more about other people.
Well, I think also too, like in life, we're taught like, oh, I make this much money or I get this much attention, so I'm better than that person. Oh, but this guy's got $1 billion and a hot wife. He must be better than me.
Yeah.
Or, oh, that's Kanye West. Like, of course he should be able to cut the line in front of me. He's better than me. He's famous. And I think one thing I had to like work through in my redo the framework in my brain is that like, I'm not better than anyone.
Nope.
I am not better than if I could look at a homeless guy, I'm not even better than that guy. But guess what? They're not better than me either. We're all like, that's the great trade.
Yeah.
Nobody gets to talk shit to me. They're not better than me, but also I'm not better than them. Like we're all just working on our lives, we're all working on some stuff.
And life is tough, you know, life is tough, especially when you have to go through something like that. But I believe that like, the reason why, because I've seen a lot of really successful people that are sober, right? And they weren't always necessarily successful prior to that. You know, they had a ton of potential, but, or whatever it is, turning it into a superpower is like that's why I believe it is a superpower is because I don't know what it is about overcoming something that's trying to kill you or beating something that is out there to get you and it didn't. And what that does to a person's psyche. But like, I don't know, man, I refused to live life miserable today. I heard a guy say in the rooms one time, he goes, Jack, I would quit my fucking job on the 29th with rent due tomorrow, no money in my bank account, if it was affecting my sobriety.
I love that.
And he's like, I have so much faith in God that I'll figure it out.
That's great.
That like I refuse to allow it to like take my serenity.
Well, and everyone in that meeting would give you $100 each to pay your rent. If you know what I'm saying?
And now you got a month head start on finding out what,
Yeah.
but don't let it do it.
Kind of discipline is what we need for these things, I think that's awesome.
I remember it was so profound to me at the time because I'm one of those guys that needs to take control. I need to control this situation. Whereas like he was telling me, no, dude, you just turn it over. You just make sure to take care of the one and only most important thing, which is your recovery and your serenity. Like, don't let those things be at risk. So if it's a job, if it's a person, if it's anything, get out of that fucking relationship. Get out of that job. Yeah. Do it. Like, trust me, you'll be fine. You'll be fine, but like, don't let it take you down.
We need more of that kind of stuff, like just in general, like that attitude is the right attitude. And men respond to it, I think, better. But maybe that's why I like it so much is because I'm a man. But like the idea of like, so when I was young, I got told I had dyslexia. Mm-hmm. And I did have dyslexia. But I just took that as a young kid going, all right, I guess I don't have to do the book report. I have dyslexia. Oh, great. Yeah, no, I can't do that. Can I leave during that? I have dyslexia.
Yeah.
And it's like I needed a man to go, no, kid, you're going to have to work twice as hard. This isn't your excuse to not do things. Mm-hmm. Like, no, this means you got to dial it in.
Yeah, you got a harder path now,
this is going to be more work. This is not less work. And so I just think of that with a lot of things. Like, when people complain about how hard sobriety is, it's like, good. All right, great. That's your battle then. War up, like battle up, like that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. It's like pull yourself up by your bootstraps a little bit, right?
It's pathetic to like sit around and drink and think, woe is me. Like that guy sucks. Like this guy rules. That's good for people. Like they should look in the mirror and go, what am I doing?
What am I doing?
Why am I feeling bad from it? Like let's turn this around. You're going to be gone soon. Might as well live.
You know what's so interesting is it's hard for me to remember anybody that's not capable of any of the same stuff that I'm doing today. I am not special. There's nothing special about me. I would argue that of course there's special things about me, but like I'm not more special than anybody else in terms of like capabilities, right? In a lot of ways, right? Like I'm not the smartest. I'm not the best looking. I'm not any of that stuff yet. Here I am and I'm doing okay. You know?
Well, it's your mind's strong, which is heroic. It's good that you are able to put your mind together and accomplish something like that. It's like I said earlier, it's not nothing.
Well, it goes back.
Deal.
I always use the analogy, and I love it so much. Is like Indiana Jones. There's a point in which there's like a gap between two areas, right? And he's on one, and there's like this ball coming down, and he doesn't know how he's going to get to the other side because there's this pit in between. And something about the puzzle that he's in, or whatever, gives him the idea that he should just take a step, but there's no step for him to take.
Right.
But he does it anyway. And it's like blind faith. Right. Yeah. And I love that because as soon as he takes that step, it appears.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how I view my recovery is that like sometimes you just have to take that blind faith step.
100%.
And as soon as you do, you're like, okay, now I can do another one.
Yeah.
And then another one. And then another one. And there's a progression that happens within recovery. Just like your disease is progressive, so is recovery.
Yeah. I think I'm very lucky. I was like blessed with kind of like this. I really love life. I like life. I don't want to ever feel mopey or like feeling sorry for myself. And I think that's because my parents do that all the time. They're always like, they're very like, they love to be wronged. Because then they can complain about it and they can do all these things. And I've never really had that.
You had said earlier that you didn't have family. Are you still in contact with your folks?
Yeah, I still talk. They're just old now.
Okay.
And,
all right. So you mean you didn't have your own family, and that's why you're able to travel?
Right. I don't have a wife or kids or a girlfriend or anything. Yeah.
You hear that, ladies? Single, ready to mingle.
Boy. Wouldn't you like a boyfriend you could talk to on FaceTime?
Right. Yeah. You'll never see him. He'll never be in town, but he's awesome.
Yeah. But like, I think that like, I like to encourage people when I speak at anything of like, life is good.
Yeah.
You don't have to like get sad and do drugs by yourself and drink by yourself and think, what's the point? Like, it's like, we got to really like find those little corners of earth where people are feeling like that, because life is too good.
I agree.
There's too much good stuff going on right outside, you know, like drive by this building in my Uber. You'd have no idea there's two dudes in here that are just great guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's every room. That's every spot of earth. There's so many good things happening.
Yeah. We don't even know some of the things we're missing that's out there to experience, right?
100%.
And unless you allow yourself that opportunity, you'll miss out on life, and you'll blink and it'll pass you by.
100%.
I originally thought I was too old, right? Because I'm in treatment with like 20-year-olds, you know, or whatever it is. And I'm like, God, if they could get it, that's great. I'm thinking my life's like halfway over. It's no, not even close.
Not at all.
Also, because of what I've experienced in the last, decade plus that I never experienced before. So this is all like, it feels just all like a big bonus.
I know. I agree with that. Yeah, it's a good way to look at it.
I didn't know this stuff was possible or in existence, or I just never was curious enough. It's just so weird. Like, I don't know. I feel like I woke up. So that's just when I woke up.
I feel like Michael Jordan starting basketball at like 30. and then they're like, dude, you could have been like the greatest. And I was like, I know, I started like too late. But that's just kind of how I've been thinking about it. But, it's all for a reason.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, what you're going to be able to do now that you're sober, probably in even the rest of your life, it's going to feel like you've packed so much into it that you didn't miss out.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel about it.
I hope that's true. My buddy Greg has sent me up to go speak at some jails. You ever done that one?
They wouldn't allow me in because of my DUIs, believe it or not. I tried
Really?
it was on a committee in the 12-step program I
think
work.
that would make you more qualified. Like
you would think.
Yeah.
I know what I know. Well, I don't know what it's like in prison. I know what it's like.
But you don't want. They're going to say you don't want guys with criminal records talking to these guys. Like, that's the people they're going to.
Well, the one we have out here is San Quentin, and it's a pretty, intense prison, as you probably have heard.
Well, it's got a reputation.
It's got a reputation. Yeah. And so for whatever reason, when I put in the application to go do it, I was not allowed. But I would have loved to do something like that. I definitely go into other institutions, that don't allow people out. Yeah. Not necessarily jails per se, but whether it's homeless shelters or things of that sort, I absolutely, I did a lot more of it when I was younger. I had some years where I was super on fire for it, and like that's all I did. But life has progressed, and I do it when I can, for sure. Yeah. It's actually usually the highlight of my day.
Yeah, it's the best. I love going to that. I think of it sometimes as a thing on my list, like, oh, I've got to do AA today. Crap, that's it. Like I think of it like it's a appointment or a thing I've got to get done. And then every time I leave, I'm like, I'm so jacked up that I went to this. I mean, it makes me happy every time.
Dude, it fills your cup.
Yeah.
It fills my cup, I should say.
For sure.
Yeah, I think it would fill anybody's cup if and if you're struggling out there, man, please just like, dude, there's so many people out there willing to help. And the coolest part is we're amongst you. We 100%. Are amongst you everywhere. And they like most of the time you just don't know it because, most of us aren't as open as maybe me and you are about it, but they exist all around you.
I get so many like little secret shakes like, hey, I'm friends with you.
Friends with Bill.
Yeah. I get that.
So do you ever when you're on the road a lot, do you get to hit up cool meetings like that?
I haven't.
Oh.
I don't know why I don't think to do that.
Well, you got baseball on your mind.
I guess. I don't know because I don't know why I don't think to do it. Because I'll be like, oh, I'm out of town this Wednesday. I won't be able to make my meeting. But there's meetings everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, there's literally so many. And I hear guys in my meeting talk about like, oh, I was in this small town. I went to one of the meetings. It was great. So I need to get out of my comfort zone. Also, it's not that I've been avoiding it. I just don't really think to do it.
Yeah, no, I get that. Well, awesome, dude. I can't thank you enough.
Thanks for having me on, man. I'll come back anytime you want.
I love it. Especially anytime you're in the Bay Area. You got friends here, buddy.
100%.
Yeah, God bless you, man. And best of luck with everything.